Chapter 21 Manor Recruitment, Young Worker Bees. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hydralisks are taller and larger overall than Springtails. The cooperation between the two should have unexpected effects. After the barracks is upgraded, the recruited Hydralisks will be directly level 2. The combat power has also reached a stronger level 4, which is one level higher than the Springtail. It can be seen that the overall strength of the Hydralisk exceeds that of the Springtail. Subai was already very satisfied with this. People's hearts are not as strong as snakes swallowing elephants. It is naturally very unrealistic to recruit those high-level and extremely abnormal troops from the beginning. Moreover, it now has a long-range attack unit. The next battle will definitely be more efficient and faster, because the combination of melee combat and long-range attack is the best way to fight. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound suddenly sounded. Congratulations to Lord Subai. Your newly recruited unit Hydralisks has been strengthened to the ultimate myth level, and its number has been increased to 8. Next moment, from the barracks, 7 Hydralisks came out. The three-edged sickle shone with a cold light, and the sharp bone needles stood up high, making people shudder. Subai suddenly felt very good. With 8 Hydralisks all at once, the overall strength of the territory has undoubtedly been qualitatively improved. In the future, when you go out to kill monsters, your safety will be greatly guaranteed. Moreover, you can kill more and stronger monsters to harvest more resources. At this time, the 10 Springtails suddenly became excited when they saw their new companions. They cheered and ran around the Hydralisks. For a time, the territory became very lively. Subai just smiled and ignored them. These interstellar Zerg soldiers have extremely high IQs. Although he could not speak human words, through mental perception, Subai could detect their emotional fluctuations and changes. Then, Subai came to the gate of the manor. Tip: the number of free recruitments in the manor has been refreshed. Current free times, 1, recruit. He muttered silently. A burst of intense light erupted in the manor. After a while, a miniature version of the worker bee appeared from the light. It is 30 centimeters long, and its carapace appears relatively fragile. Young worker bees. Level, LV1. Race, interstellar Zerg. Quality, the ultimate myth. Talent, collection. Equipment. Worker bee pliers. Skills, logging LV1, mining LV1. Loyalty, 100. Introduction. The immature worker bees have slightly weaker collecting ability and will grow up to adulthood after a period of time. Oh my god, it turned out to be a young worker bee. Subai murmured to himself, and a question suddenly appeared in his mind. I wonder if this counts as child labor. But soon, he laughed involuntarily. It seems that there is still some pressure when entering the land of redemption for the first time. Otherwise, why would my mind suddenly become crazy? However, the ones recruited this time are young worker bees, and their ability to collect resources should be worse than that of worker bees. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded again. Congratulations to Lord Subai, your newly recruited young worker bee has been strengthened to the mythical level, and his skills have been upgraded to level 99. At the same time, the properties of the young worker bees change. Skills, logging LV99, mining LV99. It's great. All the skills have been upgraded to level 99. This way, the ability to collect resources shouldn't be too bad. A smile appeared on Subai's face. The skill is only one level away from reaching the peak of level 1. Looking at the entire land of redemption, it must be an extremely powerful existence. The farmers recruited by other lords may not be half as capable of gathering resources as the worker bees. Worker bees and young worker bees are now starting to go out to search for and collect resources. Remember not to leave too far from the territory. Subai issued orders through spiritual perception transmission. 2 worker bees, one big and one small, moved their fleshy bodies and left the territory. Then, Subai stood on a high slope in the territory, looking out over the surrounding wilderness. Due to the flat terrain, there are few trees. The line of sight can extend into the distance. It is very obvious that the number of monsters around the territory has increased a lot compared to yesterday. This phenomenon has been discussed in courses within the military region. During the 7 days of the novice period, the number of wild monsters near each new lord's territory will gradually increase as time goes by. For some weak lords, this is terrible news. because once beasts gather in groups, or some monsters with strong individual strength appear, it will become more and more difficult to deal with, resulting in the inability to obtain resources, slowing down the development of the territory, or even stagnating, however. This is good news for Subai. Currently, there are 10 Springtails and 8 Hydralisks, with combat strengths of level 3 and level 4 respectively. Their overall strength has begun to take shape. The more beasts there are, the stronger the quality, the faster Subai can lead his soldiers to kill, the more they will gain. This is very similar to a real-life business war. Often, the larger the company, the more capital it has, and the more business it can acquire, the more resources it can acquire, and the faster its development will be. Now, Subai's goal is to become the leading existence among all the new lords. Springtails and Hydralisks, follow me out to kill the enemy. Subai was in high spirits and strode towards the outside of the territory. 10 Springtails and 8 Hydralisks transformed into bodyguards, surrounding him tightly, thinking that the loyalty of the interstellar Zerg was at full level and would never betray him. Subai felt extremely safe for a moment. After walking for 5 minutes, 3 muscular black rhinos suddenly appeared in front of them. Mutation Black Rhino, Quality, Ordinary, Level, LV2, Introduction. The black rhinoceros is fat and clumsy, with thick and rough skin. It was originally a timid and harmless animal, but after mutation, it became violent and would blindly charge at the enemy in front of it. That's great. I'm just worried that I can't find wild monsters like rhinos. Subai looked happy, with a thick smile on his face. The evolutionary sequence of Springtails in the evolution chamber. Hardened carapace, one of the resources needed is rhino horn. Originally, he was a little worried, where should he find the rhino monster? Unexpectedly, it took no effort at all. Before I even looked for it, the rhinoceros bumped into me. Seeing an enemy appearing in front of it, the Springtail scratched the ground with its forelimbs and let out a series of low roars. The Hydralisk raised its body high and opened the bone plates under its carapace, revealing countless sharp armor-piercing bone needles. Just take this opportunity to test the combat power of the Hydralisk. All Springtails, stay put. Hydralisks are ready to attack. Subai gave a low drink and gave the order. The 3 mutated black rhinos stepped up with 4 hooves and charged more and more fiercely. The Hydralisk's muscles bulged and it shot out the bone needles at an alarming speed. Chapter 22 Hydralisk's First Battle, Bone Needles Show Their Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whoosh whoosh, 0.8 Hydralisks fired simultaneously. Dozens of sharp bone needles flashed with a cold light. Almost in the blink of an eye, he had flown in front of the mutated black rhinoceros. The rhinoceros' skin used to be tough and could withstand the bites of vicious dogs and wild wolves, but today in front of the bone needles, it was as if it had turned into a thin layer of paper, fragile. Between the electric light and flint, the bodies of the 3 mutated black rhinos were pierced by bone needles, with holes popping up, and they turned into blood hedgehogs. This is the end, the battle is over. 3 mutated black rhinos fell on the charging road, with only air coming out and no air coming in. Damn, he's so strong. Subai's face was startled, with a trace of shock in his eyes. The lethality of the Hydralisk's bone needles is so powerful, rhinos can be killed easily. Moreover, judging from this battle, the Hydralisk's enemy-killing efficiency is faster than that of the Springtail. Even if you face a large number of wild beasts, there is no need to be afraid. Each Hydralisk can quickly launch a large number of bone needles in a very short period of time. It was like a machine gun, pouring out bullets in a steady stream, tearing the enemy in front of him into pieces. At this time, 3 balls of light the size of eggs floated from the corpse of the mutated black rhinoceros. Weak beast soul. Quantity 3. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 3. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 30. Beautiful. The prayer buff is awesome. Subai beamed. Then, the prompt sounded again. Tip, explode the item and get 3 rhino horns. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of rhino horns obtained has increased by 10 times. Rhino horn plus 30. Damn it, a rhino horn popped out. Subai was immediately overjoyed. The evolutionary sequence of Springtails, hardened carapace upgrade, just need 10 rhino horns. Now not only are they all ready, but there are 20 more, in one word, cool. If there is no prayer buff, I want to collect 10 rhino horns, at the very least, we have to kill 10 rhinos. Not to mention the effort, we may not be able to encounter so many. Go on and hunt monsters. Subai turned around and was about to leave. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound suddenly sounded. The evolution cavity swallows monster corpses and obtains biomass. Immediately, Subai paused, with a thick smile on his face. It turns out that the biomass required in the evolutionary sequence is obtained by devouring monster corpses in the evolution chamber. It seems that as long as certain conditions are triggered, the system will automatically issue a prompt. Don't worry at all that this is a brand new resource and you don't know where to get it. Now, biomass is addressed as a resource. The troop upgrade project in the evolution cavity has become much simpler. For a moment, Subai was in a good mood. Through spiritual perception transmission, he gave orders to the Springtails to drag the bodies of the 3 mutated black rhinos back to the territory. A few moments within the territory, 10 Springtails worked together to place the rhinoceros carcass in front of the evolution chamber. An amazing scene happened. The evolution chamber seemed to have turned into a living creature, and the dark purple skeleton began to surge. The squirming skin covering it opened a huge gap, as if there was an inexplicable suction force that sucked the corpses of the 3 mutated black rhinos up from the ground. Next moment, the evolution chamber swallowed up all the rhinoceros corpses, and the cracked gaps in the skin closed automatically. 5 seconds later. Tip: the evolution chamber decomposes into biomass 6. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the biomass obtained has increased by 10 times. Biomass plus 60. It is indeed the exclusive building of the interstellar Zerg tribe. It is really awesome. Subai praised continuously. Compared with the 2 initial buildings, the barracks and the manor, the evolution chamber instantly looked very tall. Both appearance and function are extremely amazing. However, the efficiency of converting biomass does not seem to be very high. On average, an ordinary quality, level 2 mutated black rhinoceros carcass can be converted into 2 points of biomass. If it weren't for the bonus of the prayer buff, it would really not be that easy to get 200 points of biomass to upgrade the hardened carapace. Perhaps, higher quality and higher level beasts can convert more biomass. The current task is to kill more monsters and obtain more biomass, then, look for elephant monsters and collect ivory. In this way, the hardened carapace can be upgraded to the springtail as soon as possible. Keep going out and killing enemies. Subai took 10 springtails and 8 hydralisks and walked out of the territory again. At the same time, Bai Mengyu was in the territory, looking at the barracks in front of him with expectant eyes. I wonder what kind of troops I can get through the second recruitment. Although the Blood Elf archers were already considered a relatively powerful unit, she still hoped for a more powerful soldier. It would be best if you could recruit a melee unit. In this way, you can cooperate with the Blood Elf archers to maximize your combat power. Even the weapons of the Blood Elf archers include a short sword in addition to the elf longbow, but the dagger is only a weapon they use for self-protection. And they are not good at killing enemies in close combat. God bless. God bless. In Bai Mengyu's prayer, a female elf with a slender figure, fair skin, and wearing light armor walked out. Although their pupils are all blood-colored, but unlike the Blood Elf archer, this elf is more muscular and taller. The most eye-catching thing is the 2-meter-long sword she holds in her hand. Blood Elf swordsman, level, LV2, race, Blood Elf, quality, legend, weapon, elf long sword, equipment, elf light armor, racial talent, night vision, talent, none, skill, none, combat power. Level 2, loyalty, 95, introduction. The Blood Elf swordsman is good at fighting, brave and fearless, and rushes to the front in every battle. He is the brave among the Blood Elf clan. It's really a close combat soldier. That's great. It seems that praying is also very useful. Bai Mengyu was ecstatic, and her beautiful eyes were filled with brilliance. After yesterday's efforts, her barracks has also been upgraded to level 2. Naturally, the recruited troops are also at level 2. Although the Blood Elf swordsman had no innate skills, Bai Mengyu still felt very happy. Only a team capable of both melee combat and long-range attack can be considered to have a certain level of combat effectiveness, enhanced by the legendary quality level. The number of soldiers recruited this time has been increased to 4. After the system sound ends, from the entrance of the barracks, 3 blood elf swordsmen walked out again. Not bad. In this way, I have 10 soldiers in total, and the speed of killing monsters can be increased a lot. By Menyu's eyes are bright and full of confidence in the future. At the same time, I am also worried in my heart. Subai, I wonder how far your territory has developed now. Chapter 23 Upgrade the Manor and Unlock Food. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now Zhao Xiangtian stood in the territory, preparing to recruit soldiers. He looked expectant and kept praying to heaven. I hope I have better luck and can recruit a powerful high-level orc unit. Soon, the barracks burst into bursts of light. A green-skinned orc wearing leather armor and holding a battle axe came out. For an instant, Zhao Xiangtian froze on the spot, with a trace of frustration on his face. Why are they the orc infantry again? There is nothing new at all. That's it, accept the reality. Raise the level of the barracks as soon as possible. Maybe we will recruit high-level troops in the future. At this time, the system mechanical prompt sounded, enhanced by the epic quality level. The number of orc infantry recruited this time has been increased to 4. Immediately afterwards, 3 more orc infantrymen walked out of the barracks. Now, I have a total of 7 orc infantry. Although they are not particularly powerful, it is still not a problem to clean up the monsters around the territory. Zhao Xiangtian murmured to himself, with a hint of confidence in his eyes again. No matter what, the epic level Lord's Mark can still bring about a huge increase. As long as you work hard and kill a lot of monsters, you will definitely be able to successfully pass the novice stage and develop your territory to a certain height. Even now, the upgrade of territory level is 1 day slower than Subai's. But he is just a useless Zerg. How can one develop a territory just by relying on enlarged versions of caterpillars, ants, and moths? Good luck is only temporary, and he cannot have good luck all the time. With my beast tribe, it won't take long for me to surpass Subai. Now Zhao Xiangtian subconsciously regarded his classmate Subai as his competitor. Yoshi, in this recruitment, enhanced by the legendary Lord's Mark, I got 6 demon dogs and rebuilt the glory of the Japanese Empire. I am more confident. Koishikawa Shun looked at the devil dog in front of him with excitement in his eyes. These demon dogs are similar in size to wolf dogs and have extremely sharp fangs. The difference is that they have no flesh and blood, their bodies are composed of white bones, and their eyes are burning with green flames. The Lord of the Dragon Kingdom named Subai. Yesterday he was allowed to advance his territory to level 2 and received a special reward. It's really hateful. This kind of thing will never be allowed to happen in the future. We must trample all the Dragon Kingdom lords under our feet. Only the Japanese Empire is qualified to dominate the entire Redemption Land and compete for the entire Blue Star. Koishikawa Shun's voice was high-pitched, with a hint of fanaticism in his eyes. Then, with high fighting spirit, he led the Hellfire and Demon Dogs to kill the wild monsters outside the territory. At the same time, Subai just stepped out of the territory. The system's mechanical synthesized sound suddenly sounded in my ears. Tip, your young worker bee found a big stone and collected 80 stones. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of stones obtained has increased by 10 times. Stone plus 800. Tip, your worker bees discovered a 10-year-old willow tree and collected 150 wood. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the amount of wood obtained has increased by 10 times. Wood plus 1500. Damn, that's awesome. Young worker bees are not slow at collecting resources. Subai looked happy, with a smile on his face. 2 worker bees, 1 big and 1 small, are pretty good. In the future, the number of worker bees will increase, and the speed of collecting resources will become faster, and then life will be comfortable. But now, with the blessing of the prayer buff, my life is very comfortable. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded again. Tip, your worker bee experience value is full, your level has been upgraded to LV2, and the speed of resource collection has been slightly improved. Level 2 worker bee, Subai murmured to himself, through processes such as logging and mining, the experience value of worker bees will be increased. After upgrading, the efficiency of collecting resources will be improved, which is not bad. However, in the early stage, increasing the number of worker bees will significantly increase the speed of resource collection. Only in the later stages, when the number of worker bees increases, will the upgrade bring significant effects. Then, another system synthesized sound sounded. Tip: the Manor upgrade materials are all available. Do you want to upgrade so fast? Subai was slightly surprised. The Manor is also very important to the territory, therefore, he turned back and planned to upgrade the building first. Instantly, within the territory, Subai first checked the resource page. Soul, 480, wood, 2000, stone, 1300, iron, 2000, elementary energy gem, 50, biomass, 60. It's not bad, there are plenty of resources. As for the 30 rhino horns, they are stored in the storage space. Open the Manor page. Manor, level, LV1, quality, the ultimate myth. Function 1, produce, store food and drinking water. Function 2, recruit farmers to carry out farming, mining and other territory construction work. Tip, you can recruit for free once a day. The farmer level you recruit is the same as the Manor level, and the quality is the same. Required for upgrade, 2000 wood, 1000 stone. Next level, shorten the free recruitment time, increase the Manor storage capacity, and unlock new food. Tip, the building level cannot be higher than the territory level, otherwise the upgrade will fail. You can also unlock new foods. Subai's eyes lit up, and there was a hint of joy on his face. The current Manor can only produce drinking water, white flour, steamed buns and corn, too monotonous and lacking in nutrition. It seems that in the future, even in order to eat more delicious food, the level of the Manor must be raised. People are iron, rice is steel. Only when you are full and well fed can you have the strength to lead the interstellar Zerg race and go out to fight. Upgrade. Subai muttered silently. Wood 2000. Stone 1000. Immediately afterwards, the Manor was enveloped in a halo of light, exuding bursts of warm atmosphere. 1 minute later, congratulations to Lord Subai, the Manor has been successfully upgraded. Manor level reaches LV2. Subai checked the new Manor page. Now every 23 hours, you can recruit for free. Additionally, a brand new line of information appears. Food that can be produced: white flour, steamed buns, corn, dried pork. Oh my god, the new food unlocked is dried pork. It's great. I can finally eat meat. Subai looked overjoyed, with deep joy in his eyes. For several consecutive meals, it was plain water with steamed buns and corn, which was really bland. It is such a blessing to have dried pork to eat. He couldn't wait and took out a large piece of dried pork from the storage space in the Manor, put it in his mouth and chewed it. Mellow, interesting, all in all, delicious. Now, Subai is more determined and must work diligently to upgrade his territory as soon as possible, not for anything else, but also for the Manor to constantly unlock new food. Being in the land of salvation and being able to eat many delicious foods is the real happiness on earth. Chapter 24: Hunting the Giant Elephant and Upgrading the Springtails. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After eating and drinking enough, continue to go out and kill monsters. This time, it's time to specifically hunt for elephant-like beasts and blast out their tusks to upgrade the Springtails' hardened carapace. Set off. Subai waved his hand, taking Springtails and Hydralisks with him, and headed out to the territory. When encountering monsters such as wild wolves and wild boars, he simply chose to ignore them and avoid them from the side. After all, the current task is to collect ivory as soon as possible to upgrade the Springtails. 20 minutes later. 4 elephant-like beasts were finally discovered on the west side 1 kilometer outside the territory. They are huge in size, have rough skin and thick flesh, and appear to have amazing defense capabilities. The most eye-catching thing is the sharp ivory. Giant elephant, quality, ordinary. Level, LV2. Introduction. The giant elephant was originally a docile animal, but under the influence of some evil force, it became extremely violent and would often initiate attacks. Level 2, normal quality, should be easy to deal with. Subai murmured to himself, the 4 giant elephants in front of them should just look huge in size and not very powerful in combat. Thinking of this, he shouted, Springtails, Hydralisks, the whole army attacks. The words fell, the 10 Springtails spread out their hooves, let out bursts of low roars, and rushed forward quickly. The Hydralisk twisted its body and came to a high slope. It stood up high and prepared to launch bone needles. The giant elephant sensed the danger and instantly became violent. They stepped forward with 4 hooves like pillars and rushed forward crazily. If you only use a semi-automatic pistol, I'm afraid it won't be able to break through the giant elephant's defense. Looking at the pistol on his waist, Subai suddenly felt that this thing was like a fire stick and was of no use at all. The next second. Whoosh whoosh, dozens of bone needles poked out, flashing with a cold light. At an extremely fast speed, it flew over the springtail and stabbed into the giant elephant's body. Boom! 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 4 loud noises suddenly sounded, almost in the blink of an eye. The 4 giant elephants had been pricked into hedgehogs, fell to the ground, and died instantly. At this moment, the springtails were still charging, and the battle was over. I have to say, the long-range troops are still the best at killing enemies. Subai sighed repeatedly. Now, with 8 Hydralisks around, the monsters can be killed much faster. When you first enter the land of redemption, most of them are low-level monsters near the territory. Hydralisks alone can completely kill them. Those 10 springtails turned into soy sauce-like existences. There is no way. The wild monsters are too weak and there is no challenge at all. Now Subai is a little overwhelmed with blessings. You know, even with these ordinary quality, level 1 and 2 beasts, there are still many lords who cannot deal with them. Moreover, if what is awakened is the original blue star version of the Zerg, then there may be no way to deal with a level 1 wild boar, unless the lord himself is relatively strong and can tear wild wolves with his hands and punch wild boars. Otherwise, if the Zerg is awakened, then it is really useless. Subai was indeed quite lucky. It is bound to the powerful interstellar Zerg race and comes with several incredible racial characteristics. In addition, under the influence of the interstellar Zerg, the quality of the Lord's Mark actually jumped 3 levels from the epic level to the ultimate myth. If there had not been the above changes, then when he came to the land of redemption, Subai would have been killed by wild monsters long ago just by relying on the original Zerg race and recruiting some enlarged versions of ants and caterpillars. At this time, the words of a great man suddenly appeared in Subai's mind. He looked far into the distance, looking at the blue sky in the distance, and couldn't help but say, the ancestors of the previous generation studied for the rise of China. Now, the goddess of luck has come to me. I must work harder and fight for the rise of the Dragon Kingdom. Destroy the Japanese country, suppress the American country, and trample the Dahan Kingdom. For a time, Subai was full of fighting spirit. He quickly checked the prompt information in front of him, weak beast soul. Quantity, for automatic decomposition. Soul +4, congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul +40, tip, explode the item and get 4 tusks. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of ivory obtained has increased by 10 times. Ivory +40. Very good. Now that we have collected the rhino horns and ivory, we only need biomass to upgrade the Springtail's hardened carapace. Subai murmured to himself, with a hint of joy in his eyes, the stronger the soldiers become, the stronger the territory becomes. In this case, it is very likely that after the novice period is over, he will reach the top of the new lord rankings and receive the mysterious and unique reward. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded again. Tip, your 10 Springtail experience points are full, and the level has been upgraded to LV2. Tip, after upgrading, the strength and speed of Springtails will be slightly improved. The Springtails have been upgraded. Subai looked happy, transmitting through his mental perception. He ordered the Springtails to start running. As expected, the speed was slightly faster than before. A little adds up to a lot, and a small sum adds up to a big one. Although Springtails are a low-level unit, their power will definitely be astonishing as they level up in the future. Then, Subai left the Hydralisk to protect himself and ordered the Springtail to transport the giant elephant body back to its territory. A few moments. System prompts appear in front of you. Tip: the evolution chamber decomposes into biomass 8. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the biomass obtained has increased by 10 times. Biomass plus 80. Now, the biomass is 140. It won't be long before the Springtail's hardened carapace can be upgraded. Subai looked happy, with a trace of expectation in his eyes. Then, he recalled the Springtails and led all the soldiers to protect the worker bees from mining while hunting wild monsters. Half a day passed very fulfillingly. In the blink of an eye, the sky is getting darker and the sun is setting in the west. Subai led the Springtails, Hydralisks, and one large and one small worker bee back to the territory. Take inventory of this afternoon's harvest. He opened the system prompt for collecting resources. Tip: your young worker bees discovered a miniature iron mine and collected 400 iron blocks. Congratulations to the Lord. With the strengthening of the prayer effect, the number of iron blocks obtained has increased by 10 times. Iron plus 4,000. Tip: your worker bees discovered a small forest and collected 700 wood. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the amount of wood obtained has increased by 10 times. Wood plus 7,000. Tip: your worker bee found a white boulder and collected 400 stones. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of stones obtained has increased by 10 times. Stone plus 4,000. Fuck. It feels so good. Subai was so happy that he could only spit out a mouthful of Chinese quintessence. The worker bee's collection ability is already strong, and with the blessing of the prayer buff, it is simply invincible. In addition, get Soul 320, Biomass 200, 100 primary energy gems. Since they only killed some low-level beasts such as wild boars and wild wolves, no other items exploded. Chapter 25 Going Out at Night, Mysterious Cave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, Subai was already very satisfied. It is estimated that now, a lot of resources have been saved. He opens the resources page. Soul, 840, wood, 7,000, stone, 4,300, iron, 6,000, elementary energy gem, 150, biomass, 340. Cool. Seeing so many resources, Subai couldn't help but grin, almost bursting into laughter. It has to be said that the speed at which he collects resources is definitely far ahead of other lords. There is a saying that goes well: common people are afraid of the Gone Emperor, the Gone Emperor is afraid of the Kryptonians, and the Kryptonians are afraid of the cheaters. Although everyone hates cheating, everyone wants to be a cheating person. Now Subai is bound to the interstellar Zerg tribe. And his Lord Mark has been upgraded to the ultimate myth, praying for a tenfold gain. Isn't this inappropriate? Is this just a piece of shit? Now, enough biomass has been accumulated to upgrade the Springtail's hardened carapace. Subai moved his steps and came to the front of the evolution cavity, open the evolution sequence and select upgrade, biomass 200. Rhino horn, 10. Ivory 10. The 10 Springtails stopped in place, and the muscles all over their bodies began to surge. 1 minute later, system prompts appear in front of you. Congratulations to Lord Subai, Springtail evolution sequence. Hardened carapace upgrade is successful. See if there are any changes in the Springtail data. Subai checked the military unit information. Springtail, level, LV2. Race, interstellar Zerg. Quality, the ultimate myth. Weapons, claws, sharp teeth. Talent, swiftness. Skill, none. Evolutionary sequence, hardened carapace, an extremely hard carapace, which greatly increases defense and can help Springtails survive longer in fierce battles. Combat power, level 4. Loyalty, 100. Introduction. This small and ferocious dune runner once settled on the sand planet Skash, and was later incorporated into the insect swarm to perform guard and attack missions. It likes to use its claws and teeth as sharp as sickles to kill enemies. Tear into pieces. Damn it, my combat power has increased, from level 3 to level 4. Subai looked happy, with a thick smile on his face. Previously, the level of Springtails was raised from LV1 to LV2. Although the speed and strength increased slightly, the combat power level did not change. Now, after upgrading the hardened carapace, the combat power level has been directly increased by one level. From this point of view, the force of the hardened carapace is still quite huge. Now, the combat power level of the Springtail is the same as that of the Hydralisk, which is also level 4. If we encounter the Steppenwolf from before again, we will definitely be able to end the battle more quickly. The appearance of the upgraded Springtail has changed. There is an extra layer of black carapace on its outer skin. Subai moved his steps and stretched out his hand to knock. Bang bang bang, that there was a crisp echo. It looks like it's very hard. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded in my ears. Tip, the territory upgrade resources are all available. Do you want to upgrade? Rapidly upgrading the territory's level is the most important part of the development process. Subai didn't think much and said silently. Upgrade. Wood 3000. Stone 2000. Soul 200. Elementary energy gem 100. Immediately afterwards, the entire territory was covered with a faint white light film, accompanied by a loud noise. The territory is expanding. The dilapidated cabin in the middle has also become brand new. 5 minutes later, congratulations to Lord Subai. The territory has been successfully upgraded. The territory level reaches LV3. Territorial area increased by 500 square meters. Yes, the scope of the territory has been increased by 500 square meters. In this way, when the number of soldiers gradually increases in the future, they can all be accommodated in the territory. Subai murmured to himself. At this time, the buildings in the territory can be upgraded to level 3. I have to say that the feeling of quickly upgrading is really refreshing. Then, he checked the upgraded territory information. Territory, Subai, level, LV3, area, 1,500 square meters, completeness, 100%, territorial buildings, level 2 barracks, level 2 manor, level 1 warning arrow tower, level 1 evolution chamber, 40020010001003001000. I'm sorry, if it weren't for the primary energy gem, which is still a little bit worse, I can continue to upgrade right now. Subai's eyes widen with a hint of fire. Wait until tomorrow, and the level of the territory will be upgraded by at least 1 or 2 levels. This cheat-like upgrade speed is really refreshing. At this time, other lords may have just upgraded their territories to level 2, but his territory is about to enter level 4. The only pity is that this time the territory upgrade did not trigger any special achievements, and the system did not issue rewards. However, this is not important. So far, apart from myself, I have never seen other lords trigger achievements, causing the system to issue an announcement. A little hungry, Subai walked into the manor, gnawed 2 sweet corns, and ate half a caddy of dried pork. After filling my stomach, the last ray of light on the horizon disappeared. The land of redemption ushered in another dark night. In the dark sky, a full moon slowly rose. The cold, frosty moonlight fell, bringing a glimmer of light to the ground. There are no clouds tonight, but the moonlight is much brighter than last night. Subai stared at the darkness outside the territory, and suddenly there was a trace of fire in his heart. Mysterious monsters awaken at night, but it also brings many opportunities. The most exciting thing is those special ruins. They only appear at night, waiting for the arrival of the destined person. But well, blessings and misfortunes depend on each other. Entering the ruins may yield a lot of rewards, but you may also encounter unexpected events. However, the probability of encountering ruins is relatively low. So once people meet them, they often choose to go in and have a try. Give it a try. And turn your bicycle into a motorcycle. Still quite tempting. In addition, after nightfall, many monsters will fall asleep, making it easier to kill. Another point is that according to an authoritative survey by the Official Statistics Bureau, the probability of a lord discovering various treasure chests when going out at night is slightly higher. With the protection of 10 Springtails and 8 Hydralisks, you can escape even if you encounter danger. Let's try to go out and explore tonight. Subai couldn't hold back the restlessness in his heart and led 18 interstellar Zerg soldiers to leave the territory and move towards the north. Of course, he won't go too far, and will only move within a range of 3 kilometers at most. Under the bright moonlight, the line of sight can be extended into the distance. 5 minutes later, a cave in the front right came into Su-bai's sight. The entrance of the cave is about 3 meters high and 2 meters wide. Hey, why didn't I notice during the day that there is a cave hidden here? Chapter 26 Springtails Pull Monsters, Warning Arrow Tower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the faint light flickering in the cave, Su-bai had a trace of doubt in his eyes. Could this be a special relic that only appears at night? Wrong. If you encounter ruins, the system should issue a prompt. That's it. No matter so much, since you encounter it by chance, you can't let it go casually. We must go in and take a look and explore the situation. Of course, to be on the safe side, Su-bai would not lead the way in. This is no joke. If you accidentally encounter some powerful monsters and just dive in, wouldn't you die? You 5, go into the cave to explore the situation. Stay vigilant. If you encounter danger, get out as soon as possible. Su-bai ordered 5 springtails to break into the cave with a faint light. Roar. The springtails showed no fear at all, let out a low roar, and rushed in without hesitation. Soon, they were submerged in the darkness and their figures could not be seen clearly. In any case, it was nighttime now, and visibility was still relatively poor with only moonlight illumination. The faint light in the cave aroused Su-bai's great curiosity. Could it be that there is something shiny inside? Next moment, Su-bai's complexion changed, and there was a trace of horror in his eyes. Just now, through spiritual perception transmission, he received signals from 5 springtails in the cave. They have met an enemy. It seems that the enemy is still very powerful, otherwise, 5 springtails would have rushed up and tore it into pieces. Go back. Su-bai gave orders to the springtails in the cave. At the same time, he led the soldiers around him to retreat back. 10 seconds later, 5 springtails in the cave ran out. Behind them, there is also a humanoid monster that looks like a spirit body. The monster held an old-fashioned oil lamp with a dim green light in its left hand. In his right hand he held a pair of rusty long-bladed scissors. Sad ghost, quality, excellent. Level, LV10. Introduction. The ghost wandering in the dark night, carrying a heavy tombstone behind him, seems to be telling the grievances of his life. Note, immune to normal physical attacks. Damn it, I'm so unlucky. As soon as I came out of the territory, I encountered a monster that only appears at night. Su-bai couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of Chinese quintessence. When I go out today, I really should read the almanac. Careless. The sad ghost in front of me is of excellent quality and level LV10. These are all easy to say. With 10 springtails and 8 hydralisks, we can still fight it. The most terrible thing is the following line of prompts. Immune to normal physical attacks. This is completely unsolvable. Springtails and hydralisks both have physical attacks, so is the semi-automatic pistol strapped to his waist. It can't cause harm to the sad ghost at all. Withdraw. Su-bai shouted, turned around, and led the springtails and hydralisks towards the territory. As for the cave that exudes dim light, we can only give up exploring it. After all, saving your life is important. The mournful ghost let out a shrill wail, raised the long-edged scissors in his hand, and followed closely behind. When in danger, without Su-bai giving orders, the hydralisk would automatically launch bone needles to fight back. Whoosh whoosh. As expected, the bone needle penetrated the mournful ghost as if it were touching a burst of air. It didn't create any waves at all, it just passed through and pierced the ground. Run, 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 your attacks have no effect on it. Su-bai ran wildly, conveying his orders to the hydralisk through spiritual perception. At this time, a springtail jumped in front of him. Through spiritual transmission, it conveyed a message to Su-bai. Lord, please ride on my back and get out of danger quickly. I am coming. Su-bai stretched out his hands and jumped onto the springtail's back. The springtail is 2 meters long and 1 meter high, just enough to carry Su-bai. Especially after upgrading the hardened carapace, it feels very stable when sitting on it. Get out, get out, get out. Su-bai grabbed the springtail's back to keep his body balanced. Then the springtails and hydralisks increased their speed. In just a short moment, the sad ghost was left far behind. Su-bai looked back and found that after a certain distance, the sad ghost would turn back. Half a minute later, back to the edge of the territory. Such a fast speed is really powerful. When you encounter powerful monsters in the future, you won't have to worry about running away. Subai patted Springtails' back and jumped off the ground. He raised his head and looked at the tall warning tower. A bold idea suddenly came to his mind. Why not lure the sad ghost over and let the warning arrow tower kill it? The alert arrow tower is enchanted with fire stone and can fire arrows of fire. It is just right to deal with the sad ghosts who are immune to physical attacks. Then, Subai ordered the Springtails to slow down after attracting the hatred of the sad ghosts and lead them around the territory. Roar! The Springtail received the order and ran forward quickly. Subai stood in the territory and waited quietly. 5 minutes later, the Springtail returns. Behind them, the sad ghosts were suspended on the ground, raising long-bladed scissors and chasing after them. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded quickly. Warn. 1,000 meters to the northwest, a monster was found invading. We have entered the range of the warning tower and are about to launch an automatic attack. Chapter 27 The Stone Chamber in the Cave, the Book of Summoning Spirits. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next moment, the warning tower has changed. The flame stone on the top emits bursts of red light. Immediately afterwards, dozens of flaming arrows condensed, launched from the top of the warning tower, like fire dragons, cutting through the sky, sweeping toward the target with blazing flames. The sad ghost raised its long-bladed scissors in a defensive posture. However, there were so many flaming arrows and so fast that it was impossible to resist them. Between the electric light and flint, the flaming arrow hits accurately. The mournful ghost roared in pain under the blazing attack of the flames. Immediately afterwards, dozens more flaming arrows struck. The mournful ghost was instantly swallowed up by the flames, turned into specks of light, and dissipated in the air. Damn it, this arrow tower turns out to be so awesome. Subai's eyes widened with disbelief. At first, he thought that this was an arrow tower given by the military region and would not be too strong, but I didn't expect that after being strengthened by the Lord's Mark of the ultimate myth level, it would become so powerful. The arrows wrapped in thick flames were quite powerful just by looking at their appearance. Moreover, the actual combat effect is also very powerful. The sad ghost with excellent quality and level 10 was killed in an instant. Okay. It seems that in the future, with the protection of this warning tower, the security of the territory will undoubtedly be greatly improved. The corners of Subai's mouth raised, with a thick smile on his face. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound sounded in my ears. Soul of the dead. Quantity, 1. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 80. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 800. I threw it. After 10 times the critical hit, I got 800 souls directly. It's so cool. Subai was immediately overjoyed. From this point of view, it is faster to collect souls by killing high-level and high-quality monsters, like the Steppenwolf we encountered earlier. It takes 1 soul to explode after killing one, which is too little. It's just a pity that after the death of the sad ghost, there is no body left behind, so it cannot be swallowed by the evolution cavity. Immediately afterwards, the system prompt sounded again. Tip, explode the item and get 12 primary energy gems. Congratulations to the Lord. With the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of primary energy gems obtained has increased by 10 times. Elementary energy gem plus 120. Not bad. Finally, the primary energy gem came out again. Soul, this resource can be obtained by killing monsters. The difference is that the stronger the monster, the more souls it will explode. The primary energy gems are different. Low-level beasts generally don't explode. Only by killing monsters with higher levels can they explode. It's great. Now you have enough resources to upgrade your territory. Subai grinned, almost bursting into laughter. With such a rapid upgrade, I'm afraid other lords will become envious and jealous when they find out about it. However, there is no rush to upgrade the territory now. The top priority is to explore the mysterious cave again. We must find out why there is a faint light inside. Springtails, Hydralisks, follow me. Subai shouted and rushed out of the territory. Now, he has it all figured out. There are 2 ways to give orders to the interstellar Zerg. One is through spiritual perception transmission, which can be completed directly in the mind. The second is to convey the command you want to express through language. At first, Subai thought that Springtails and Hydralisks couldn't speak, so they naturally didn't understand human language. Unexpectedly, they could actually understand what he said. 5 minutes later, Subai stood at the entrance of the cave again. Springtails, go ahead and investigate the situation. If you encounter danger, retreat immediately. Roar. The 10 Springtails let out a low roar and rushed into the shimmering cave. This time, no monsters were encountered. After waiting for a while, 10 Springtails turned back. Seeing this, Subai cautiously entered the cave under the double protection of Hydralisks and Springtails. After walking for about 3 minutes, the front becomes brighter and brighter, illuminating the road under our feet very clearly. Interesting. There must be something special hidden there, otherwise, it is impossible to shine brightly for no reason. Subai took long strides and sped up. 1 minute later, the front became suddenly open and extremely bright. This is a hand-carved stone chamber with walls covered with dust and cobwebs. There is an altar placed in the center, and the bright light source comes from here. Next to the altar, there is a human-shaped skeleton stand. Perhaps, the sad ghost in the cave earlier was derived from this. This stone chamber must have been dug out by the Aborigines of the Redemption Land. Subai murmured to himself, with a hint of thinking in his eyes. The natives of the Land of Redemption are the local forces here. The courses in the school and the military area particularly emphasize that new lords who have just entered the Land of Redemption must not provoke them, otherwise, it will definitely lead to the disaster of killing. Of course, not all local forces are evil and hostile. There are also some indigenous people who are indifferent to the world and will never take the initiative to provoke human lords. If a certain human lord is very powerful, he can also recruit local forces to join his territory. Even if it is powerful enough, it will attract the native people to take refuge. However, all of this is still far away from Subai for the time being. He stepped forward and approached the altar. There is a stone platform above, with an old book placed on it, emitting bursts of faint light. A book? Subai murmured to himself. Stretch out your arm and take it in your hand. The sight condenses and its message emerges. Book of Summoning Spirits. Quality, unknown. Disposable items. Introduction. Communicate the mysterious power and tear apart the dimensional space. After using it, you can randomly recruit a hero of your own race. Chapter 28 Queen of Blades, Cold Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recruiting a hero of our own race at random. This spirit summoning tome has such a great effect. Subai was immediately ecstatic, with a thick smile on his face. In the Land of Redemption, the initial construction of the barracks can only recruit soldiers, not heroes. Generally speaking, if you want to obtain heroes, you can only recruit them by obtaining exclusive buildings. But now, to be able to find books that can be used to recruit heroes in the stone chamber of this cave is simply unlucky. I have to say that there are still great benefits to exploring at night. If it is daytime, the location of this cave is very hidden and difficult to see with the naked eye. Only at night, when there is no sunlight, can people notice the bursts of light emitting from the cave. The soldiers of the interstellar Zerg are already so powerful. Presumably their heroes will be 10 or 100 times stronger than ordinary soldiers. Subai looked excited, with half expectancy and half anxiety in his eyes. After all, the purpose of this spirit summoning book is to recruit randomly. It would be a bit disappointing if you recruit a hero with poor strength. However, Subai believed that his luck would not be bad. Furthermore, there are no weaklings among the interstellar Zerg. Even inferior heroes will definitely be very powerful. Springtails, Hydralisks, follow me back to the territory. Now, Subai has no intention of exploring around anymore. All my thoughts are focused on recruiting heroes. It was as if there was a cat scratching at the bottom of his heart. He couldn't wait to know what kind of interstellar Zerg hero he would recruit next. Springtail, come here. As soon as he finished speaking, a springtail jumped over with 4 hooves. Subai held the carapace with one hand, turned over and sat astride it. The springtail is his mount. It is fast and can sit firmly, which is very good. Leave and return. Subai shouted loudly. Surrounded by Springtails and Hydralisks, they quickly left the cave and ran towards the territory. A few moments, within the territory, Subai took out the spirit summoning book from the storage space, took a deep breath, and hoped that the goddess of luck would come again so that he could get a powerful hero. Now, start recruiting. Immediately afterwards, the spirit summoning book automatically suspended in mid-air, bursting out with a strong dark purple light. The space began to distort, and a dark aura spread out. next moment, the Book of Soul summoning turned into thousands of dark purple lines, converging into a space door that exuded a faint light. Damn it, is it so majestic, that the clothes on Su-Bai's body moved automatically without any wind, which was enough to show how extraordinary this space door was. At this moment, his heartbeat was racing, my heart was already in my throat. The battle is so big, it would be very disappointing if I was given a weak position. The door to space erupted with a dazzling dark purple light, and at the same time, bursts of powerful air flow spurted out from inside. Subconsciously, Su-Bai raised his hand to cover his eyes. Boom! There was a crisp sound of footsteps, from far to near. It slowly becomes louder. Su-Bai ignored the impact of the airflow and quickly put down his hands and looked forward. A slender woman stepped through the door of space and walked out with elegant steps. The woman's legs are straight and slender, full of strength, her hair is branch-shaped, and her fingers are retractable claws. The high bridge of the nose, the beautiful lip shape, the charming color, and the pale golden eyes are filled with holiness and charm. The most eye-catching thing is the pair of extremely sharp bone wings on her back, which make her look cold, powerful, and charming. Immediately, Su-Bai's pupils shrank sharply, with a hint of shock in his eyes. This is really unexpected. The hero of the interstellar insect race is not a vicious and terrifying insect, but a cold and charming royal sister. However, Sister Yu is great. Su-Bai liked this one. Moreover, she must speak human language, right? I stayed in the land of redemption for the past 2 days, spending the whole day with a group of Springtails and Hydralisks, and no one could talk to me. No matter what I do, I just talk to myself, and I am so bored that I almost get moldy. At this moment, Sister Yu stepped in front of Su-Bai, and the space door behind her slowly faded, turning into dots of starlight and dissipating in the air. Queen of Blades. Name: Sarah Kerrigan. Hero: the 1. Level: LV1. Race: interstellar Zerg. Quality: Myth. Weapons: razor claws / melee, bone wings / melee, psychic shockwave / ranged attack. Talent: Heart of Zerg. The bravery of the Queen of Blades inspires the Zerg army. Within a range of 1,000 meters around her, the combat effectiveness of the interstellar Zerg increases by 10%. Skill: Kinetic impact. Detonate psychic energy, causing huge damage to the target unit from a long distance. Combat power: level 9. Loyalty: 100. Introduce. I am the insect swarm. The swarm of insects never stops. The world is burning at my feet. The Queen of Blades who slaughtered countless star regions, when she leads the swarm to attack, no one in this universe will be able to resist the power of the Queen of Blades. Seeing the detailed information, Su-Bai couldn't help but take a breath, with deep shock in his eyes. What the hell? Oh my god! I didn't expect this cold-hearted lady to have such terrifying strength. Her level is only LV1, but her combat power has reached an astonishing level 9, razor claws, bone wings, and psychic shock wave. These 3 attack methods look very powerful. If you have both melee combat and long-range attack capabilities, there will be no shortcomings. Moreover, Psychic Blast is not a physical attack. In this way, you no longer need to be afraid of spiritual monsters like the Grieving Ghost, which are immune to physical attacks. The talent Heart of the Zerg increases the overall combat effectiveness of the interstellar Zerg by 10%. Such a powerful group gain buff is truly incredible. There is also that skill, Kinetic Impact, which is awesome just by looking at the introduction. As expected of the interstellar Zerg, so powerful that they could recruit such a perverted hero, like humans, orcs, etc. Their heroes are not so powerful at all. I have to say that this time, Su-Bai found a treasure. Queen of Blades, this should be her title. Coupled with the following sentence: the world is burning at my feet. It's really mighty and domineering. Su-Bai also noticed that heroes are unique and have their own names. This is the most significant difference from ordinary arms. Immediately afterwards, the system's mechanical sound sounded again. The Lord's Mark is detected to be the ultimate myth, and the quality of the Queen of Blades is being upgraded. Congratulations to Lord Su-Bai, your hero Queen of Blades has been upgraded to the ultimate mythical quality. I lost it. So awesome. The quality has been upgraded to the full level. Su-bai checked the Queen of Blades information again and found that the combat power level had been increased by 1 level to level 10, the talent heart of the Zerg has also been enhanced, the combat effectiveness of the interstellar Zerg has been increased from 10% to 15%. Chapter 29 Local Forces, Human Body and Dog Head. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Queen of Blades is even more powerful. Suddenly, Su-bai was even more happy, so happy that the corners of his mouth almost curled up. He took a step forward and took the initiative to say hello. Hello Kerrigan, welcome to the Redemption Lands. Kerrigan's eyebrows moved slightly and she spoke. Orchid, Lord, do you have any orders? Your queen is listening. Su-bai was slightly startled. Damn it, this relationship is a bit confusing. Kerrigan calls me Lord, but she calls herself your queen. Is it possible that the Queen of Blades is an S? For a moment, Su-bai's thoughts were racing and his imagination was running wild. Lord, Kerrigan's eyes flickered, with a hint of doubt in them. Sorry, I just got distracted. Su-bai spoke quickly and asked repeatedly, by the way, where are you from? I come from the distant Copperless sector. While speaking, Kerrigan's beautiful eyes showed a look of memories. Is your psychic shock wave magic or fighting spirit? Su-bai asked. Magic? Fighting spirit? What is this? Kerrigan shook her head and continued, psychic energy is a kind of superpower, similar to the force of the universe. Once mastered, it can exert great power in battle. I see. Su-bai suddenly realized, it is very necessary to understand the abilities of the Queen of Blades. In this way, different response strategies can be formulated when facing different enemies. Can your bone wings take you flying? Su-bai asked again. It can fly short distances, for short periods of time, and at a certain altitude. Kerrigan responded. Su-bai nodded. From this point of view, the bone wings are more useful in assisting in combat, or when encountering some complex terrain. It can help Kerrigan pass quickly. Of course, it can also bring Kerrigan greater speed and unparalleled adaptability. At this moment, Kerrigan, who is level 1, has only one skill, kinetic impact. After upgrading in the future, new skills will be unlocked. These basic knowledge about heroes and theoretical courses in schools and military districts have all been mentioned. Now, Kyride's combat power is level 10, there will be no problem in killing monsters of any quality up to level 10, moreover. With those powerful attack methods and skills, monsters of more than 10 levels must be able to kill them. When Kerrigan's level rises in the future, she will surely become a powerful being as powerful as a giant. Su-bai couldn't help but become more confident in dominating the land of redemption in the future. Kerrigan, have a good rest tonight, and come with me to go out and kill monsters tomorrow. As you command, Lord. Kerrigan smiled evilly, exuding an alluring aura. Su-bai was slightly startled and couldn't help shouting in his heart, what the hell? Is this still the Queen of Blades who slaughtered countless star regions? She is just a charming lady. At this time, suddenly a harsh whistling sound sounded. Outside the territory, a huge boulder slammed over in a parabolic trajectory, carrying gusts of strong wind. The next second, boom, the boulder hit the protective light film, shattered, and turned into countless small pebbles, falling to the ground. Is it a monster attacking the territory? Su-bai turned around and looked attentively. I saw a 2-meter humanoid creature appearing in the darkness outside the territory. From the neck down, there is no difference from humans. What was on his neck was a black dog head. The huge mace in his hand shone with a cold light and looked quite powerful. Kobold warrior, quality, ordinary. Level, LV4. Introduction. An aboriginal of the land of redemption, a warrior of the Kobold clan, full of muscles. Good at wielding a mace to cause damage to the enemy. It turns out to be a local force in the land of redemption. This is the first time I have encountered it. Su-bai narrowed his eyes slightly, with a thoughtful look on his face. If you encounter local forces, there are only a few choices you can make. First, the water from the well does not interfere with the water from the river. Everyone did not interfere with each other. Everyone did their own thing, and pretended not to see each other. Second, extend an olive branch of alliance. If a certain lord is relatively powerful and has a large number of troops under his command, then these indigenous People will take the initiative to propose an alliance. Third, start a war. Non my family, its heart must be different. Most of the local forces will hate the human lords. It is the most normal thing for both sides to go to war. Fourth, surrender. This is more difficult, unless the lord is very powerful and has high combat power units under his command. They can crush the indigenous people. Only in this way will they surrender voluntarily. Of course, capturing prisoners is not very reliable. Not only do we have to be wary of the natives escaping, we also have to waste food, which is not worth it. Behind the kobold warrior, there is a group of short kobolds. At a glance, there were probably more than 30 in number. He was 1.4 meters tall and wore dirty brown rags. He held a wooden stick in his hand as a weapon. Kobold slave, quality, ordinary, level, LV2, introduction. Humanoid evil creature with greedy and despicable personality, preferring meat. As a slave among kobolds, low IQ. That kobold warrior is the leader of this group of kobold slaves. Subai's eyes were clear and steady, and he whispered. Your lordship is right. Kerrigan's voice sounded from one side. Suddenly, Subai felt a little relieved. Someone finally came out to answer my words. Don't talk to yourself all the time and drive people crazy. At this time, the kobold warrior opened his voice and shouted loudly. Why do you foreign forces break into the cave where our kobold clan worships and take away our holy scriptures? Sacred scripture. Subai looked puzzled, with a trace of doubt in his eyes. Immediately, he realized that the holy book that the kobold warrior spoke of must be the book of summoning spirits, but well, it has been used long ago and dissipated in the air. Kobolds, what do you want? Subai's eyes flickered, and the corners of his mouth curved. The kobold warrior raised his mace and shouted. Return the holy book immediately and apologize. Otherwise we will launch a thunder attack, and the fury of the kobold clan will flood your territory. Human, you can't bear it. Hearing this, Subai suddenly laughed. A mere kobold dares to threaten me? I'm sorry, the holy book is gone. What can you do to me? The kobold warrior was immediately furious, pointed his mace forward, and shouted, damn it. All kobolds, attack immediately. As soon as he finished speaking, the kobold slave barked, pick up the rocks and throw them forward. However, the stones hit the protective light film outside the territory and fell one after another. Come up to me, the kobold warrior shouted. Immediately, more than 30 kobold slaves took long strides and charged forward. He picked up the wooden stick and hit it on the protective film. Chapter 30 Aesthetics of Violence, Battle Ballet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, the banging sound of the wooden stick made his wrist numb. The protective light film remained motionless without any ripples. At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound quickly sounded, warn. Discover local forces attacking. We have entered the range of the warning tower. Do you want to launch an attack? In the face of wild beasts and monsters, the warning tower will automatically launch attacks, but when facing local forces and aboriginal people, they will consult the Lord first, and then launch an attack after confirmation. This is quite intelligent. Subai was a little worried at first. If he becomes bigger and stronger in the future, dominates one side, and local forces join him, won't the automatic attack of the warning tower cause accidental damage? Now that he saw these prompt messages, he was finally relieved. Faced with the provocation of the kobold slave, the Springtail scratched the ground with its claws and let out a low roar. The Hydralisk stood tall, ready for battle. The kobold warrior on the opposite side seemed a little frustrated when he saw that this light film could not be broken through. He waved his mace and shouted loudly, you foreign invaders, if you have the courage, come out and fight, don't hide in the territory. Subai stood there, with a slight curve in the corner of his mouth. You kobolds have come to the door of my territory, then my warning arrow tower is not a decoration. Facing these level 2 kobold slaves, Springtails can completely crush them, but the current situation is very obvious. Using the warning tower to attack is the best option. Arrow tower, attack. Subai moved his lips slightly and muttered silently. Next moment, the flame stone at the top of the warning tower shines with bursts of red light. A dozen flaming arrows condense together, piercing the sky with scorching heat and sweeping towards the target. Whoosh whoosh, The place where the enemies gathered was suddenly swept by flames. Any kobold slave who was hit by an arrow would have his body ignited with flames. A large number of screams sounded. The kobold slave looked frightened, unable to withstand these flaming arrows. Just one shot caused heavy casualties. With dozens of corpses falling down, the surviving kobold slaves suddenly became frightened, turned around in fear, and retreated repeatedly. "Don't mess up. Don't mess up." The kobold warrior waved his mace and shouted loudly, trying to gather the morale of the army. However, kobold slaves are timid by nature, so a smooth fight is fine. Once they encounter a situation that they cannot cope with, they immediately become discouraged and can no longer muster any will to fight. The kobold warrior struggled for a moment and then shouted, "All kobolds, retreat first. Want to run? How can it be so easy?" Subai sneered and ordered, "Springtails, chase the enemy." "I come." Kerrigan's eyes are sharp and she fights with high spirits. "No enemy can escape from my hands." As soon as she finished speaking, she bent her legs slightly and lunged forward. The bone wings vibrated, making bursts of piercing sounds. He stepped on the ground with his toes, jumped up suddenly, and spread his bone wings flat, allowing Kerrigan to stay in the air for a very long time. In just a short moment, it had already rushed over 10 meters. "Capture the thief first. Capture the king first." It seems Kerrigan's target is the kobold warrior. Subai watched the situation on the field and murmured to himself. Next moment, Kerrigan accelerated again, approaching her target. The kobold warrior looked horrified. He picked up his mace and brought it down high to fight back. At the same time, he shouted loudly, "Here, help quickly." However, the kobold slaves were already frightened by the pursuit of the flaming arrows, and fled in all directions, without caring about their leader. Kerrigan stepped forward, sweeping her bone wings, flashing with a faint cold light. Just like cutting tofu, the mace instantly broke into 2 pieces. Then, the razor claws thrust out and grasped the kobold warrior's throat. No matter how hard he struggled, he just couldn't escape. "Die!" Kerrigan's eyes turned cold and she closed her hands. The kobold warrior's throat was broken, and the black dog's head hung down weakly. Kerrigan flicked it aside and said, "You don't overestimate your own capabilities." With their leader dead, the kobold slaves became even more panicked. Everyone wished they had 2 more legs and ran forward quickly. "All have to die." Kerrigan's eyes flashed with evil light, reflecting the cold light of the forest. He rushed out with a quick stride, dodged and leaped. Each swing of the razor claw kills a kobold slave. Some fled farther away and spread a larger distance. Kerrigan stretched out her palm and gave it a gentle push. The psychic shock wave penetrated her body and killed him directly with unparalleled speed. After a while, no one of the invading kobolds survived, and they all died. "The battle is over." Kerrigan patted the dust on her clothes and turned back with graceful steps, looking at the ruthless royal sister who was killing everyone in front of her. Subai's eyes were full of shock, and she couldn't help but sigh. She's really strong. The Queen of Blades is not only powerful in battle, but also possesses a keen tactical mind. Capture the thief first, capture the king first, and directly kill the kobold warrior, then with lightning speed, kill the kobold slaves. Harvest in melee, using razor claws and bone wings. If you attack from a distance to pursue, the psychic shock wave will be activated. This is simply invincible. Moreover, her fighting posture is smooth and flowing, revealing a violent aesthetic, radiant and merciless. It's like a ballet of battle and a poem of bloodshed, giving people a very wonderful visual sense. "The enemy is too weak. The battle is over before I even exert my strength." Kerrigan smiled sweetly, her eyes filled with calmness. Seeing her so confident, Subai instantly felt a sense of security. With such a powerful Queen of Blades guarding her, what enemy without eyes would dare to rush to her side? At this time, the system's mechanical synthesized sound appeared in my ears. "Soul of the kobold warrior, quantity, 1. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 20. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 200. Soul of the kobold slave. Quantity, 34. Automatic decomposition. Soul plus 68. Congratulations to the Lord, with the enhancement of the prayer effect, the number of souls obtained has increased by 10 times. Soul plus 680. Subai was immediately overjoyed. "Cool. So many souls. Logically speaking, the resource soul is very difficult to obtain compared to wood and stone, especially for new lords who have just entered the land of redemption. The troops in the territory are limited and their strength is not strong. It is not easy to quickly accumulate souls, but with the blessing of 10 times the buff, Subai killed one wild monster, which was equivalent to killing 10. The speed of accumulating souls can be said to be quite fast. After this battle, it seems that this local force is nothing more than this. Subai laughed loudly, with deep joy in his eyes.